Hello everyone, Leonardo Cornejo here with another video, and today I wanted to talk about something I have been reflecting upon because of an incident I had a week prior to recording this video. I was online browsing stupid stuff on the internet and saw this news about people complaining about what was it? The Lord of the Rings Amazon TV show, which will have plenty of sex in it. And well, the complaint was the article was like, oh, stupid people are bitching about it, and because someone made a petition basically saying it's time to stop, like, filthy Frank and all that stuff. Well, people were asking to stop because it is a bad idea. The thing is, some people were in favor of this bad idea. That's the shocking part. I mean, no, seriously, I'm shocked. There were some people in favor of it, and one of them was like, "Oh, these peace babies are complaining," and I told him, "They're not complaining. You well, I didn't say that. I said you're an ignorant fool." And that's when it happened. That Facebook locked my account for calling someone an ignorant fool, and that's not the topic of the video. The topic of the video was that, generally speaking, it's funny because I disapprove strongly of the idea of a Lord of the Rings adaptation with sex scenes in it, with romance in it, with love scenes in it, with porn in it, and everyone is like, wait, but you're the fan service guy. You're the guy who talks about Oppa Loli titties every now and then, who wrote a novel which is only PG-13 because you are not confident of writing good sex scenes and you actually put fan service in your novel. Why the fuck are you against that? Well, the reason is I am against anything that disrespects the source material, and that's what I want to talk about right now. I am often upset when I find out some work of fiction disrespects the source material. For example, I really liked Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but I stopped liking the anime when I found out the manga was full of fan service, which was cut from the anime, and that bothered me. That's exactly the thing. It bothered me. It bothered me quite a lot. I was like, fuck it. I don't like it. I don't like this situation. I don't find it fair. I don't find it good. And I stopped watching the anime and decided to read the manga instead. The thing is, it bothered me because it disrespected the source material. I am fine with fan service. I love it, actually. But I can't tolerate the idea of it being added as just as much as I can't tolerate the idea of it being removed. That was my issue. I found it extremely unacceptable to see an adaptation which took all the fan service away. Finding that out bothered me. And that's where I said, no, this is unacceptable. This can't be. This shouldn't be. It needs fan service. If it has fan service, it needs fan service. And that's what happened. I didn't like it at all. Yeah, but when it comes to Lord of the Rings, that's exactly the problem. If it has fan service, it shouldn't be that way. That is, if there is fan service, maybe I mean, if it doesn't have fan service, it shouldn't be that way. If Lord of the Rings has no fan service, how are you going to add it? If Lord of the Rings has no canon sex scenes, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna, don't know, make a dwarf x elf gay porn? Elf x hobbit gay porn? Because there are no sex scenes. In fact, one of the things stupid people complain about is that there are not many relevant women in Lord of the Rings. The reason is it was not that kind of story. It was not a love story. It was not a, how do I say it? Not a romance story. It was a story about a bunch of guys going on a quest to get rid of a very dangerous, powerful ring. And at a time where the idea of a woman taking an action role was less common, it wasn't non existent, but it was less common. So the author basically was like, let's write a bunch of guys going on an adventure. There are a few women, and I forget the name of half of the characters, so don't expect me to remember her name, but this woman who defeats Sauron and all that stuff. And well, I'm not even sure if it was in the books or it was part of the books or just the movies. And well, there are a few women, most of which are not part of the adventure all the time, and that's the problem. You can't add sex scenes without disrespecting the source material, without putting something that wasn't there, something that wasn't Tolkien's vision. That's what bothers me. I don't mind fan service when it respects the source material. It's the opposite with the Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. You take out the source material had fan service and you take it out, then it is wrong. If there was no fan service and you added it, it will be wrong too. unless the author is alive and well and says, you know what? Go ahead, I like the idea. I couldn't make it happen on my own. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the skill to do it. So I didn't do it. So go ahead and put it. For example, in my case, if someone said, let's animate this novel series, let's make it into an anime, which is part of my goals. My goal is basically the Del Toro quest treatment, but a little bit better because I want the whole series to get adapted, and I do want fan service. So like almost like the Del Toro quest, but a little bit better. But that's basically my idea. Let's make something I will enjoy, something I would like to see adapted to anime and video games. Someone said, well, we are going to adapt it, and we want to put fan service in it to make it even better. I will say, count me in. I didn't put it because I was bad at writing an excuse for it. It has some. There are scenes of the main protagonist, through what I read, wearing only underwear, but there are very few scenes like that because I am bad at writing a context in which it would make sense other than the hair taking a break. It's hard when you are going on an adventure to add sex scenes without having to stop at some village or something. That's another thing. There are not many moments through Lord of the Rings in which an erotic moment could happen naturally. And not many women, and too many men. So unless you want to make gay porn with dwarves and elves, you can't have much in the source material to work on that. And as I said again, it was not in the source material. It is not that kind of work. In fact, it is antithetical to the ideas of Tolkien, because Tolkien wanted to make this story about adventure and about stopping an evil tyrant, and there was no sex. the times were different. The mindset was different. It's not like, for example, The Witcher, which is darker. It is not dark fantasy. It is adult fantasy, but it is not dark fantasy. And in dark fantasy, often sex is just overlooked or avoided, even. Not all the time. There are some sexy scenes in some works of adult fantasy which are not dark fantasy, but generally speaking, it is neglected. So, having a sex scene in Lord of the Rings is out of place. There is no authorial intent. Nobody asked Tolkien because the guy is super dead. So unless you are a necromancer or some sort of spiritist, you can talk to him. And I don't think Netflix. No, I mean Amazon. It was not Netflix, but you know Netflix has quite a bad reputation with their adaptations. So my brain had a pretty sleep there. Amazon. I know they have some really evil and nasty characters, but I don't think they have a necromancer, or a shaman, or a spiritist. I don't even think they have witches, even though some people say they drink the blood of babies and all that stuff. No, I think they are psychopaths, but I don't think they have supernatural powers. I am not saying they don't drink the blood of babies. I am not saying they do. But I don't think they can have anything magical or spiritual. So I don't think they can talk to Tolkien, like bring him back from the grave and say, "Oh, Mr. Tolkien, did you want to put sex in Lord of the Rings?" Yeah, I wanted Legolas to suck Frodo's dick. I forget their fucking names. I barely even remember Frodo. It has been so long since the last time I touched something related to Lord of the Rings, and my memory isn't that good. Or, oh, Mr. Tolkien, did you want sex? Yeah, certainly. Boromir and Aragorn were a gay couple. No, they don't have his ghost to tell them that. They don't have. Sorry, I wanted to put the audio. They don't have a reason, a logic for what they are doing. They are disrespecting the author to some extent, and that's what pisses me off. I'm fine with fan service. I'm fine with erotic stories. If that's what the authors say, cool, go ahead. And you will say, but then why are you against when they took it when they take it away, even if the author allows it? Look, when you cut something, generally speaking, an author won't allow it. Generally speaking, if the author allows it, it's because there is no other way for them. It's because there is no pressure that they cave in. Because authors, we are very proud animals. We don't tolerate the idea of someone changing our ideas, our stories, of someone changing our intent. So when something gets cut, gets censored, generally speaking, it is not normal for an author to say, oh yeah, I'm fine with you removing an entire character. I'm fine with you removing an entire erotic scene. No, that's not normal. Most authors don't do that. But most authors, as I said, are proud animals, and they are fine with adding things. If you ask them, hey, can I add this character? I mean, I thought your story could use this stupid comic relief, Jar Jar Binks level comic relief. Natron, this stupid annoying character who sorry, I'm mocking my own characters, by the way, because I like to do that. Well, yes, I mean, I am not good at comedy. Let's say the author just yes, I am not good at comedy, and I didn't feel comfortable writing a comical character because of that. But go ahead, put Jar Jar Binks in. Let's fuck it the same way Lucas fucked the Star Wars. It might be a bad idea, but the author liked it. As I said, normally an author won't like to have things cut. Of course, they won't say it publicly if there is like corporate influence. They won't say, "Oh no, no, no! I detested the idea, but I had no choice because Kadokawa held me at fucking gunpoint." No, they will say, "I thought it was the right decision to reach a wider audience because then we will make more money and we can have more seasons." Of course, they won't say, "Oh yeah, well, you know, Kadokawa is full of fucking thugs. Some of them are almost yakuza," and they said, "We censor it or you're fucked." And I said, "Well, I'm fucked anyway, so let's cave in." Of course, they won't admit. But authors, as I said, we are proud. We don't like it when people change our stuff. Those who allow it either have no choice or have no integrity, or both, or they lack both. A normal author wants to say, "Oh yeah, go ahead, change my whole idea for something else that is not that way." By removing something. Sometimes, as I said, they will say, "Yeah, add something new. You know what? I like your idea. This new thing, it's funny. It's cute and funny, so let's add this new character." And that's when you get this new character who is just there looking cute and funny. I know you will get it. I know you will get it. The thing is, there is no possible way I can imagine someone saying, "Oh, go right ahead, censor my work," unless they are forced to, unless they say, "I had no choice. I had no choice in this, so I made the sacrifice." Normal authors won't say, "Go ahead, censor my work," but they will certainly say, as I said, if they find the idea good enough, if they find it funny, if they say, "You know what? This idea is good," they are more likely to say, "Yes, go ahead, let's add something new." Even if that something new is a terrible idea. That's how I think Jar Jar Binks came to be. George Lucas said, "You know what? That sounds like a great idea! Let's have a comic relief character nobody fucking likes!" Because he didn't think like that. I mean, he didn't think nobody would like it. Probably he thought, "Go ahead, because it is funny, because kids will like it, and I sincerely like the idea of kids buying more toys." Let's face it, we are not going to act like we're unfamiliar with that. We all know how this works. We all know the whole thing is all about let's go make money. So that's where my problem with this starts. If you tell me Tolkien will have wanted it this way, in this case I don't believe you. There are some things maybe Tolkien would have wanted, I don't know, let's extend. In fact, things we know Tolkien would have wanted do exist. And they are things Tolkien did bring up in his work. To be more precise, expanding upon the whole universe of Middle Earth, you know, the Silmarillion and all that. But he by no means would have said, "Yes, let's add sexy scenes." Probably if he wanted something erotic, he would have written it himself. That's why I don't like it. That's why I think it is a terrible idea. Because we can't consult the author to say, "Do you want it? Go ahead." Of course, I am not going to say I am always right and you are always wrong. So maybe I am wrong in here. But I think I'm not. Well, that's it for today. Have a good one. Steel and Flame, Book 1 of the Guilds of Avlaan series is available on Amazon. If you like fluffy wolf lolly protagonists and Japanese light novels, follow the link below to check it out.